little earlier this week, we had some outstanding news. The FIFA, the world governing body of the game of football, announced to all and sundry that Australia and New Zealand were the winning bidders and would host the 2023 Women's World Cup. Joining us on The Informer is someone I've known for quite some time. In fact, she's a fellow member on the board of Women in Football, also coach of Canberra United FC or Canberra Football Club in the W League, and in her own days as a player, Matilda played 130 times for her country, scored only 20 goals, but she tells me she was a defender in her early days and they didn't let her score too many goals. Heather Garriock, welcome to The Informer. You must be over the moon with the word that Australia has got something very special to look forward to over the next couple of years.
Yeah, thanks, George. What a dream come true to have a World Cup here on home soil, and New Zealand, obviously, when the news come in late last week, it just, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And it's going to be a fantastic show. We know in Australia that we can put on a great show. We saw that with the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. So the next 3 years of preparation, we just need to get it right, and I'm sure we will. And it's exciting times for not just women's football, but football and also sport in Australia.
Let's talk about legacy, Heather. What's this going to mean for the next generations of young boys and girls? For the girls, it gives them something really dramatic and exciting. They're going to see the world come down under in 3 years' time. But it means a whole lot more than that, or should mean a whole lot more than that, shouldn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. We can talk about the sporting aspect. We can talk about role models that are going to be here in Australia from all around the world, some of the best players and the best players. But yeah, it's going to leave a legacy, because I continue to keep saying the same quote, which obviously isn't from me, but it resonates with me, is you can't be what you can't see. Now, when I was growing up, there was very little role models, especially female role models, in the football sense. Now it's going to be wonderful to see young boys and girls, men and women, to be able to see on the world stage some of the best of the best. And the traction in especially Australia and New Zealand, we love watching live sport. We love when our national team's doing so well, and the Matildas have been doing so well of recent times. So it's going to be a fantastic spectacle. But I really think in terms of tourism as well, the economy, the football, it's fantastic. And I'm going to say this, and it's a bold statement, but for once in the game of football here in Australia, I really think football's relying on the female side of the game. And I think this is a great injection into football. And this will give us definitely a step up of wanting to be the best in the world from a female perspective, but also the men as well. The support we've got from the men's side and sponsors already. Government has been absolutely phenomenal. And tourism, everybody obviously wants to come to Australia now. It's a bloody fantastic excuse.
Well, I was going to say international travel, we're told, is going to be a concern for the next year and a half. But can you imagine now, 3 years have passed, it's the opening game of the 2023 World Cup, and it's going to be opening the tournament in New Zealand, which I think is fitting, because from all reports, the final will be played in Australia. So can you imagine the mood and the excitement? The rest of the world has been told it can travel, it's just got to go to Middle Earth for the opening game.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think it's really fitting. New Zealand's, whilst they're our neighbours, it'll be nice to see New Zealand kick off their campaign. I'm assuming that New Zealand will be playing the first opening game. Let's hope that all our Australian games are going to be in Australia, which will be fabulous as well. But can you imagine a World Cup final with the Aussies in the World Cup final? And winning the World Cup, that would just be the absolute pinnacle in sport.
You've played for Australia. Can you take me back to your first game, your debut as a 16-year-old? You're up against China, right? Just another opponent. What were your emotions? Come on, give us a sense. How excited were you and how nervous were you?
Well, I was a young 16-year-old kid with plenty of confidence, and
What, from
obviously,
Campbelltown?
yeah, from Campbelltown. I'm a Westie. I grew up in the West, and bloody proud of it. But yeah, I remember getting selected on that tour, and then if I paint a little bit of a picture, China was ranked second in the world to the US, and that was just after the time when the US had beaten China in the World Cup final in '99 with the record crowd of, I think, over 70 or 80,000 people, and Brandy Chastain took off a shirt. So a couple of months later, here I am as a young 16-year-old from Campbelltown debuting, and I come on in the 22nd minute because one of the older players had broken a nose, and I wasn't ready for it. But 35,000 screaming Chinese fans, we couldn't even hear ourselves think. Was just one of the best moments of my life. You just cannot replicate it, and I can't say into words how I felt, but I'm sure the feeling would be similar to have a World Cup in Australia, and it was similar finding out the news last week. Obviously, I live and breathe football, in particular women's football, so this is just such a great feeling, and really proud to be Australian.
Did your partner have to pull you down from the ceiling?
It was 2:00 in the morning. I just wanted to crack open a bottle of champagne, so I had to wait until that evening, unfortunately. But I was laying in bed, and when the words come out of the FIFA president's mouth, I just remember I just cleared the phone straight away and just, celebrated inside, and was texting other mates and former Matildas and things like that. So, yeah, beautiful moment.
It'll also be a remarkable moment if we are smart enough to give all the living Matildas a chance to be part of that opening ceremony. Can we do it? Are we smart enough to do it?
Yeah, I think when we look at our new leader at the Federation in James Johnson, he's already contributed a lot, including, I think he was a major contributor to us getting the Women's World Cup in 2023. And I know that he's very big, being part of the starting 11, he's very big on wanting to acknowledge the past and players of the past, not just Matildas, but also Socceroos as well. So that's I think that's really fundamental, especially to see where the Matildas has come from and where it is now. And for those players that will be playing in 2023, if they get the history and they understand the blood, sweat and tears that these past players had given to that jersey, I think they'll play even harder, even though we do have a great and strong mentality here in Australia.
Heather Garriock, as usual, you haven't minced your words. You've given us just something to hold on to. It's going to be a very, very special time. And I'm thrilled to bits that you're even more thrilled to bits that something meaningful. We've got this dream that we've held on to for quite some time. But you know what? It's coming into reality, Heather. And 2023 Women's World Cup will be held in Australia and New Zealand. Thank you very much for joining us. All the very, very best. And I hope that you have a meaningful part to play in that tournament.
Thanks for that, George. And yeah, let's hope we can go all the way in that tournament. We're due for a medal.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, George.